From actually stealing the World Cup trophy to dropping a deuce on the pitch mid-game, these are the World Cup moments you won't believe actually happen. And first off, whilst getting injured just before the World Cup is every player's nightmare, imagine having your World Cup ruined by a bottle of aftershave. That's what happened to Spanish goalkeeper Santiago Canizares in 2002 at Spain's pre-tournament training base, as the Valencia shotstopper was Spain's #1 at the time after taking his club side to the Champions League final in 2001. But just before Spain were due to fly out to South Korea and Japan for the 2002 World Cup, he had a rare Butterfingers moment and dropped a bottle of cologne on his foot. His clumsiness alone should have convinced his head coach that this guy was not fit for a World Cup place, but unfortunately for Canizares, the bottle smashed on his foot and a piece of glass severed a tendon in his big toe, ending his World Cup, with Iker Casillas taking his place and subsequently becoming the country's established #1. But Canizares can console himself by knowing that at least one of his feet smells good. Now, the balls used in the World Cup are often controversial, from the mad swerves of the unsavable Jabulani ball at South Africa 2010 to the appalling Etrusca Unico at Italia 90. But imagine being so paranoid about the quality of the ball that you brought your own. That's exactly what happened at the 1930 World Cup, as Argentina and Uruguay both brought their own balls, with Argentina's ball coming from Scotland and Uruguay's from England. And that didn't cause any problems at the start of the tournament, although it might have been a factor in their dominant performances as they both battered their opponents. But when Argentina faced Uruguay in the final, something had to give, as both countries demanded to play with their own ball. Luckily, FIFA's president at the time, Gilles Rimet, was rather diplomatic and suggested they play the first half with one ball and the second half with the other. So Argentina used their ball for the first half and were 2-1 ahead at the break, but in the second half, Uruguay's ball was used and Uruguay scored 3 goals, including 1 goal by a player with just one arm, to win the final 4-2. And did the balls make a difference? Well, both sides won all their matches easily until they had to play with a different ball. And there's plenty of mad, crazy stories to come, including a pitch invasion by a sheikh and even a doctor getting a World Cup medal. But let's stick with Uruguay for our next story, which proves that sometimes players do get hungry on the football pitch. Luis Suarez already had a reputation going into the Brazil 2014 World Cup. He'd been banned twice already in his career for biting players, getting a 7-match ban while at Ajax and a 10-game ban for munching on Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic while playing for Liverpool. So you could probably guess what happens next. Suarez was the hero of the previous match, scoring twice to knock England out of the World Cup, but he quickly went from hero to villain in the 79th minute of the match against Italy when he took a bite out of Giorgio Chiellini. Then Suarez fell over holding his face and pretending that he'd hurt his teeth, which might have been a slightly believable story had he not already chomped his way through several other players during his career. But incredibly, the referee, who had already sent off an Italian player early in the game, somehow missed Suarez's attempt to snack on the Italian defender and then even ignored Chiellini when he showed the referee the bite marks on his shoulder. While Italy were complaining about Suarez's rather unique dietary requirements, Italy conceded a corner, which Uruguay then scored the winning goal from. Unfortunately for Suarez, FIFA had a bit of common sense for once, and they banned him for 9 matches. While Suarez seems unlikely to win any fair play awards, one team actually gamed the fair play rules to reach the next round, and then there's the story of the referee who got duped by an Australian accent. But first, let's go to the 2010 World Cup, where France did what France is best at, going on strike. The French arguably shouldn't have even been in South Africa, having qualified due to a sneaky handball by Thierry Henry in the playoffs against Ireland, and head coach Raymond Domenech's bizarre squad choice for 2010, leaving out Patrick Vieira and Karim Benzema, already had the makings of a disaster, and before their first match, Florent Malouda almost had a fight with Domenech and was benched for the dull, goalless draw against Uruguay. Already, pundits were saying Domenech had lost control of the team, but at halftime in the second match, he had a huge row with Nicolas Anelka and then subbed Anelka for the second half. France lost the game 2-0, but when Anelka was sent home from the tournament, his teammates had had enough. They went on strike, refusing to train, and then hiding in the team bus with the curtains drawn before eventually writing a letter opposing Anelka's exclusion from the squad. The embarrassment from the strike and from finishing bottom of their group in South Africa saw Domenech sacked, and his successor then decided to ban the entire World Cup squad from the next France match. But referees can have performances even worse than France in 2010, as 4 years earlier, English referee Graham Paul had a night to forget. He was in charge